Hello everyone, Mason here. How are you doing? So far I've done 2 tag videos and I had so much fun doing both of them that I decided today I'd come at you with another one, except this time it's one that I came up with myself. I really just wanted to have a bit of fun and see where it goes from there, so allow me to introduce to you the Universes Collide tag, where we'll be mixing and matching elements from universes that we know and love. Books, films, TV, games, comics, manga, instructional manuals, the leaflet that got posted through your door last week. I don't care what the source material is, if you love it, it has a place in this tag. So let's get to the prompts. Prompt number 1 is the switch up. Choose 2 protagonists from different series that you would like to see swap. My answer to this is pretty evil really, but I guess that's just the person that I am. I would switch Grubs Grady from Darren Shan's The Demonata universe and Harry Potter. Both of these characters lived their childhoods normally, but were then thrown into the magical realm and tasked with saving the world, but they've got completely different approaches to doing so, and their respective universes have got drastically different magic. Grubs is a much more confident character than Harry. He's quite sarcastic and quick-witted, and I don't think that he'd be fazed by anything in the Harry Potter universe. I'd love to see his interactions with the characters and the wizarding world in general, but I do think that he'd have a much more direct approach to fighting Voldemort. He'd probably just throw an axe at his face. Harry would be like a fish out of water in the Demonata universe. If he thinks he's had a hard time of it in the wizarding world fighting Death Eaters, dragons, giant spiders and dementors, he would have a huge reality check coming when it comes to the world of the Demonata, where the monsters are horrific. These 2 characters are so different from one another, and the universes that they live in could not be less similar. I think I'd just get a kick out of seeing the way that they would interact with the worlds that they were suddenly thrown into. Number 2. V is for Villainy. Choose a villain that you would like to see get their own story. Growing up, I was a huge Doctor Who fan. I watched the series when it relaunched, I read the novelisations, and I've listened to quite a few of the Big Finish audio productions that are amazing. One of my favourite villains of all time is John Simm's version of the Master, and I personally would have such a good time following him on one of his own adventures, whether it was a standalone or a series. There are so many interesting things that you could do if you're inside the Master's head. He's crazy, he's absolutely nuts, but he's also intelligent and capable, and when he's got a plan going on, it's usually wild. You'd get humorous observations and intelligent plans, and you could even have the Doctor show up as an antagonist, trying to stop whatever evil scheme he's got going on, whilst exploring their love-hate relationship. I would not be able to get enough of this. Number 3. The Adaptation. Choose a character or a story that exists in another type of media that you'd like to see novelised. Arthur Morgan. I love Red Dead Redemption 2. It's not a hot take, I know, but that game is amazing with a capital A. For those of you who don't know, the Xbox One has a co-pilot feature which allows you to connect a second controller during single player mode, which means that somebody like me can play with a sighted friend. I did this with my partner and I could not get enough of that game. It's destroyed me emotionally multiple times. It hits me just as hard on replay as it did the first time around. Arthur Morgan has carved his place in my heart, and I would love to read more of his adventures. The best thing is that Roger Clark actually narrates audiobooks these days, so he could do it himself. Number 4. The Crossover. Choose 2 characters from different universes that you would like to see crossover. I think by now you've gathered that I love a good detective story. And who better to team up to fight crime than the best detective and the best forensic anthropologist? I'd love to see Sherlock Holmes and Temperance Brennan team up. Now I do have to clarify, when I say Temperance Brennan, I do mean the version that we get in the TV show Bones. I haven't read the Temperance Brennan novels, not because I don't want to, I actually really do, but I'm so attached to the Brennan that we get in the TV show, and I've heard that she's completely different in the books, and that makes me nervous to try it. Sherlock and Bones are both highly intelligent, they're the best in their field, and they both have moments where they struggle to interact with normal people. The interactions that they would have, the exchanges, the arguments, the eventual friendship that would strike up would be so much fun to follow. I think at first they would absolutely hate each other, but then slowly they'd grow to respect each other, and I think could become quite good friends. And let's face it, nobody is getting away with murder when those two are coming after you. Number 5. The Tonal Shift. Choose a story that you would like to give a different tone or genre to. My first answer to this is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. By now, I think we can all agree that Willy Wonka is a pretty dark character, and I'd like to see a version of the story that leans into that. Give me a psychological thriller where Charlie Bucket is sent undercover to find out what happens behind the closed doors of Wonka's chocolate factory. Pretty much everything can happen the same as it does in the original, but just lean more heavily into a tone of weird, trippy, psychological horror rather than one of wonder. My second answer is Robin Hood. I've always had a fascination with Robin as a character and what he stands for. I'd love to see a modernisation. Give me a version of the story where Robin lives in this post-industrial wasteland of a city, where the rich and the poor live together side by side in stark contrast. Robin can be a man from a wealthy background turned con artist who desperately wants to help the impoverished of the city. There could be found family, a heist, Robin and his friends going on the run. You could play off themes of police corruption and the surveillance state. I think that there are so many areas that you could mine with a modernisation of the Robin Hood story. Number 6 is, of course, to simply tag somebody else. Honestly, I really would like to invite anyone who wants to try out this tag to have a go. The more the merrier. I know that potentially there are some really great answers to these prompts, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. So if you want to have a go, let me know in the comments and I'll check out your version. As for who I would like to tag, so far Joanna has been so supportive of this channel, always willing to give great feedback, and I would love to know what her answers to these prompts would be. So Joanna, I tag you. I've had fun with this one today, guys. I hope you have too. As always, feel free to say hi in the comment section so we can have a chat, and my Twitter will be in the description. Subscribing will make sure that you never miss any of my future content. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, guys. Until next time, take care. For now, I'm off, and you should have a good one.